Welcome to another episode of the Philosophy of Chillin. I'm your host, Dylan the Connect, and I'm here with another guest. Let me go ahead and let them introduce themselves because there's a staple to be made today.
What it do, what it be, it's your boy P. What's up, everybody? My name is PJ. Thank you for having me, Dunlap.
Of course, thank you for inviting, accepting the invitation, and being willing to arrive and present yourself authentically.
All right, no problem.
I um I try to be intentional with the invitations that I extend to people, and like you said, we did have a mutual friend, so I was like, why not see where it goes?
All right, I'm here for it.
Well, welcome to the show. Like I told you before, it's pretty much a genuine conversation. I don't necessarily reveal the topics until we actually record. But once we go over the theme or the question, then we'll just see where it goes from there. And towards the end of the show, there's like 10, 15, I don't know, however many minutes dedicated to you just asking questions that you have for me.
Okay,
Mm-hmm. Cool.
sounds good.
All right. Um. All right. Okay. I was looking through your profile, and I wanted to understand how you tell a story.
Mm.
And essentially, what I wanted to go through with you, or the major overarching question that I had, um, really deals with how are you able to identify the personalities, the emotions, or the um, visual perception of details as you're aiming to tell the stories that you recognize within your skill sets and talent.
Mm. Okay, very good question. I've never been asked that, by the way. Um, so I really just, as of recently, started like intentionally wanting to tell a story, like with my posts. I'm not gonna lie. Back then, I was kind of just posting, just to post, you know. Yeah, but I would say like my last few pictures that I posted of myself, like it somewhat told a story. Like, you can put music now to your posts, so I would make sure the song fits the picture and the as well as the caption. Um, it usually starts from when I actually shoot. For instance, I did a shoot kind of themed around Tyler the Creator's Igor album. I don't know if you listened to that or not, but his album is purple, not purple, pinkish purple. So I have vinyls. I collect vinyls, so I had that on vinyl. And
Same.
you do? Oh, we gonna get into that. But yeah. So my friend who was shooting, she's also into like creative directing. I told her 1 second. I just went got a vinyl just on some random shit. You mind? Can we cuss?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But so I went and got the vinyl, came back in front of the backdrop. She told me to just hold it in front of my face. I hold it in front of my face. If you don't know, the vinyl it's a picture of Tyler's face. So basically, it covered my face and it was Tyler's face, but the rest of my body you could see. So I was like, okay, all right, that could be a post. So eventually, edited a little bit, and we made that the post. And I used the song from that album, and also the caption is a title from one of his songs, but instead of Igor, I put PJ as my name, as a name. So kind of tell a story within that. So that's kind of how I'm trying to like go moving forward with all my posts, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun, it's cool. It sucks when you don't get as much likes as you hoped, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, I'm proud of what I did, and I think it was dope. And shout out to the people that did like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, like, what went into you being like, able to identify the story that you have to tell?
Do you mean as far as like just my story, as far as like my life, like
I mean, yeah, like what you're putting into your talents. Like, this is a commitment
yeah.
and an investment, to say the least. And that has to come from someone or something, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And at least to keep motivating you through the difficult times where you're like, dang, I wish I did get more appreciation for that.
Hmm. So the question is essentially what motivates me, like to tell my story, or like what
Well,
drives.
what made you identify your story?
Hmm.
And then, like, once you identified it, what was that recognition that allowed you to say, okay, I'm building on these elements now that are putting me presently in the positions that I'm in?
Hmm. Okay. Well, I've been introverted most of my life, so with that comes kind of being in a shell. So I feel like I don't, I guess, express myself as much as I do as far as in my head. And
Okay.
I feel like a lot of people are not aware of the things that I'm capable of because I kind of hide it. Um, so now that like I'm starting to get a little recognition and starting to become more comfortable with myself and more outgoing, now it's like, okay, all right, let me show the world what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that stems from. And I just want to keep pushing, keep telling my story, keep showing off my talents. And hopefully, with that, people want to work with me, collaborate and build together,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not for that. Like, I can personally say from experience that recognizing even that aspect of expressing yourself externally, what you do understand internally, mm, kudos to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Um, so now you went through this, realization, and of course now you're walking in the things that you say that you would like to do for yourself. How is it mentally, and like, does it evolve over time, that understanding of how to move forward?
Mentally, it does take a toll.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's like when you put out a lot of stuff, it's kind of like that expectation that you got to continue to keep putting out a lot of stuff. And eventually that becomes a lot of work. And of course, I mean,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
this is what we asked for. So can't complain when we got food on our plate now, when that's what we've been asking for is to eat. But I'm learning to do things on my own time, not rush anything. Um, it's my work, When I want to put it out, I put it out, or how I feel about it is how I feel about it, no matter what anybody else thinks or says.
Mm-hmm.
And wait till that drop away. Yeah, and just gotta know that eventually it gets easier because as I keep continue to do this, I'm gonna get stronger.
That's cool. I like that. Okay. So, what registered for you when you knew that this was what you wanted to do?
Hmm. I think when I started to feel really like in control of my life, if that makes sense. Like I felt like I was off of autopilot.
Hmm.
Like this is my life. I can steer how I want. I can do this. I cannot do that. And nobody else can tell me what I can and can't do.
That's facts. Nobody can tell you what you can and cannot do.
Uh,
So, with that being said, this is not an interruption in the show. This is just me letting you know. I'm about to go turn this light on because I didn't realize that I didn't turn it on before we started recording. And we need a light so y'all can see us better. Because we're going to work with what we got. All
it's
right.
all right.
Jarky? See, it didn't take that long. All right. But back to what you were saying. Uh, yes, I recognize that. I've had to walk in my own version. I guess that's where the question came from. So I appreciate you for being willing to convey that because I know that might be a unique feeling, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so with that being said, let's get into something like smoother, lighter.
Okay.
What you got going on? Like, what's your present day looking like? Like, what's going on in your head? Not just what you're physically doing, but what you're preparing to do as well.
Okay. I've been. I do a lot of things, by the way.
Oh, I know.
So it could be like one week I'm doing just this one thing the whole week, and then the next week is the other thing the whole week, or three different things in one week.
Yeah.
So I would say last week I did a lot of shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess I should just elaborate because that can mean a lot of things. So I've been acting. I've been in some casting calls. I've been doing some background scenes. I'm gonna be in my first movie, by the way. I'm only in it for like 10, 15 seconds, but you know, that's fine. I don't mind being the background role character. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that. Um, I've been posting a lot more on social media because I have way too much in the vault that I haven't posted. I'm talking stuff from like last year, and I gotta
Yeah.
stop doing that.
Yeah.
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 So I'm making sure I post 3, 4 times a week
Okay.
at least.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good pace. So how is it like trying to maintain that?
Uh, right now it's not hard because, like I said, I got a bunch of stuff in the vault that's
Yeah.
I should have been posted. So I just space it out, and then once it starts to seem like I'm running low, all right, now I need to start shooting some more. What else can I brainstorm and think of? You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
what is that like process look? What does that process look like for you when you're preparing to generate new ideas? Like what do you like to tap into, or what medium helps you kind of think that through?
Well, first off, I love the Notes app. I always keep notes of like things I want to do. So let's say if I'm watching TV or a movie or I'm on TikTok, I'll get ideas from that and immediately I'll put it in my notes. I can do something like that.
That's real.
Or sometimes it's just straight off the dome. 'Cause I don't think we realize like we have a lot of ideas in our head, but it goes away because we don't write it down, you know.
That's facts. Even
So
though try to write down stuff, there are those thoughts where it's like, dang, I did not have a pen or a pencil.
right.
I did not have my, like, even with notes that, like, it'll be an idea. Shit, typically I'll be in the office or I'll have a backup paper or something. Phone dead.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm. Gotta focus on remembering that one day.
Imagine how many bars we probably haven't heard because rappers just forgot their lyrics and what they was gonna put out.
Yeah, but honestly, what I chalk it up to, I try to chalk it up to, okay, if it was in my head once, at the time I actually need it, it'll come back.
That's fair. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I don't know where that's gonna go. We'll see. We'll let time tell. But if I can do it once,
All
yeah.
right. You know.
Mm, um. Okay. Now, when it comes to DJing, how is feeling the energy that people give off? How does that motivate or like influence you and your styles and how you transition and things of that sort?
Mm.
You also said you collect vinyl, so I just wanted to start working on my way back to music
Right.
so
Right.
we can have that discussion.
Right. Right. So one thing I've learned, just I feel like I feel like I have a gift of discernment. By the way, um, I think I'm really good at reading people. So just off of everyday life reading people, it kind of transitions into like music wise, like it's just body language and just seeing the type of crowd you're around, you know, like if I'm with a bunch of people that are 40 plus, like they're probably not gonna want me to play like Lil Baby or like Gunna, you know, like
Yeah, yeah,
you could
you
probably
can tell.
mix in a couple of them in there, but it gotta be like the hits that everybody knows, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, that's right.
so it's just really just literally just looking up and just scanning the field, like who's bobbing their head, who's whining, who's, you know. You also got to tell that you also have to realize that there are going to be people that are not going to dance.
Yeah,
They're just not. That's just not them. So you got to accept that there's going to be people in the room that aren't going to twerk. They're not going to whine. They're not going to, you know, hit them folks. Like, there's going to be people that are just chilling, like, no matter what you play. So,
yeah, that's true.
but I would say to just focus on the ones that you see that are
Yeah,
dancing, you know, and just work with that.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all that you can do.
Yeah.
Um, especially when it comes to clean transitions from one song to another. Look at this man. He's so like thirsty. He's
Needy
just
boy.
drinking. Man. It's Onyx, y'all. I have a dog named Onyx.
Onyx. Oh, really happy
He
to see me.
he loves to be around people and hoard attention. So that's where all of this is coming from. Nonetheless, we're gonna continue with the show. Um,
You can get to the vinyls because I definitely got some questions for you.
I was trying to figure out which way I wanted to go with it. That's why I kept pausing because it's like, okay, I could do this, and I could do that. I don't know. So go ahead.
All
We
right.
can go ahead and skip to that part of the show because at this point, I know this is gonna just be a continuous conversation of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was gonna start off with Grandmaster Flash
Oh.
and then just see how that conversation went. Then we could progress to like newer age because I know for me, I haven't really been able to get as many as I truly desire and want. Um, but I know you have a wider stash and collection than I. So I really want to dive into what you actually have and like to gravitate to.
Okay. Well, I guess my question for you: what is your favorite decade of music?
My favorite decade of music?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, I don't. Okay. Hmm.
Well, I can tell you mine and why.
Well, I mean, I try to stay open to all of them, but
Of course, yeah.
you're. Okay. Hmm.
We can do a top three too if that helps.
Okay. Top three. I can do a top three. Um, in no specific order.
All right, that's fair.
Um, 70s
Ooh,
to. No wait. Yeah. No 70. Yeah. To 90s, and then I would say, mm, well, it's like 84, but it's mm, it's like a different. It's like 18. Okay, that's 1884, but I don't. Okay, maybe that's too far. Um, too far back. Too far back.
70s and 90s.
Let's go 40s to
I'm sorry, 40s.
60s. Yeah, like 1940.
No, yeah, but that's the last thing I expected to hear.
What?
I was not expecting you to say 1940s.
Well, I'm trying to make sure I have the most accurate ballpark because the one I thought before was too old.
What were they even making in the 1940s?
Well, you have a lot of interesting things because you're tapping into the real origins of like hymns, you know, different folklores. Like all of these go into the rhymes and the beats that we hear. Because yes, it definitely has its origins in like um in b-boying, influencing those cultures. Then you have like New York's culture. I mean, Get Down itself. Shout out to the show that they haphazardly removed. But even that story in itself, that's based off of actual events. It may not. It may be a characterization and a story that will, you know, have been hypothesized, but the actual environment that was real. Like,
You talking about with on Netflix, right? They Get Down
yeah. Well,
with
they took
Jaden
it
and
off,
them,
but and
with
they
Jaden and
was it Jaden?
Jaden Smith and Shamik Moore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That was good. That was
Yeah.
good. I like that.
But even in talking about that though, like the environment that they were in, like that actually happened. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe the storyline, but the environment, yes. Like where do you think it came from? As far as those people that contributed are concerned. So just yes, I try to look at all of it and at least try to understand. But I've also been fortunate enough to receive that type of exposure to those things to give accreditation to.
Okay. So 70s, 90s, and 40s.
Oh, 90s. Well, 40 through 60.
All right. Okay. All
And
right.
then I will most definitely give dang what age would we know? Hmm. I think it was 15. No, that's too, no, 15 might be the last one. No, 18. 18. Yeah, 2000 to 18.
2018.
Yeah, 2000 to
Oh,
2018, that chunk of time frame.
okay.
I think a lot of great things came out of that period. Um,
Definitely.
Afterwards, just been a journey.
You can say it. I mean, you don't got to say it. I'll just say it for you.
I just watching, but time will tell. Time will tell,
That's
and
facts.
nowadays it's looking brighter. It's looking a little bit brighter. Underground.
Yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
they're not getting no recognition, so it's like at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But that's
we're
okay.
working on that.
Yeah,
Working on
it's
that.
all
Time will tell. No,
right. Well,
but
I can give you my three
I was just
in
about to
order.
say, oh,
It's hard though. It was hard, like,
ooh,
cause I love every decade. But number three is 70s.
okay, okay.
Number two is 2000s. Number three is 90s. I mean, number one is 90s. And I
Mm.
put 90s number one is because that's personally to me, I think everybody can probably agree to this, is when R&B was at its peak. We got a great mix of hip hop and R&B in the 90s. I will if R&B gets as good as it did in the 90s again or sometime in the future, I would pay money to hear that.
Mm. I don't know. I feel like it's evolved.
I mean, of course, music is evolving, but are you trying to say you think R&B is better now than it was in the 90s?
Mm, I would say where the '90s R&B came from, those core situations have hopefully evolved. So I don't know if there will be a reincarnation of talent, and well, I know there actively is, and they are out there, but who is going to channel that genuine '90s music now?
Mm,
Would you consider yourself in the creations that you make as part pulling from that genuine '90s?
oh, definitely. I have an old soul. I'm 28, but I'm really 75 inside.
That's right.
Yeah, which is a perfect segue to the vinyl collection. Yeah, most of my vinyls are probably like oldies,
Mm.
70s, like Isaac Hayes, Curtis Mayfield. Early Jackson 5. Isley Brothers.
I got it.
Yeah. I also got newer stuff too,
Mm-hmm.
Got Tyler the Creator. I got Ari Lennox, J. Cole,
Mm-hmm.
Thug.
Mm-hmm.
I fuck with Thug heavy, by the way. Like, that's my guy. I
Respect.
love that, like, he's just versatile. I never know what to expect from him.
That's real.
And his ad libs. I think he's just like, he's up there like all time ad libs, in my opinion.
For sure.
For me, it's like Michael Jackson, Young Thug.
That's real. That's real.
Yeah.
Respect. Respect. Because that was exactly the order that it needed to be.
Like, I just really be thinking, like, what possesses you to say some of these things? Like, like, not even on the like funny shit. Like, what? Like, you really just go in the studio and think to just be like, yeah.
But let him tell it. Probably so.
Huh?
Probably so. I was just feeling this one day when it came out.
All right.
Sure. But yes. So I expect it nonetheless when it comes to that. I honestly want to go and get my vinyl right now so you can see them.
Please.
See, this is where I start telling y'all gotta go. We'll be here all day. Like y'all, I'm telling y'all. Okay. Anyway, because I am gonna show you before you leave this house.
Okay. Yeah.
But I wanted to first go back 1 second because I just remembered I forgot a question. And then on top of what we've already discussed, I do want to give it back to you so you can ask me any other questions that you may have. And after that, we'll let them know they gotta go so we can get to the vinyl.
Right.
So one more question. Reflecting back on your progression and recognizing who you are as a person, where your inspiration and everything comes from, what can you say was a motivating key to you to keep your ideology continuously protected, developed, and grown?
A motivator. It's a few things that came to mind. I always remind myself to just be authentic, because I feel like you get further when you be yourself, because that's where you're more comfortable. That's when you can see who genuinely likes your work and likes you for you, and who doesn't, and that's okay. Not everybody's gonna like you or like your work. So you, by being yourself, you weed out all of the bad, and you know that the good is genuinely good.
That's fair.
Thank
I have no questions, but
you.
do you have any questions for me? Will it be pertaining to what we've discussed already, or
I feel like my questions are like surface level. Like, how long you been podcasting?
maybe 4 years now?
Okay.
I think that's about it.
4 years.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years.
And it has pretty much been like this, like trying to get to know people on like a deeper level as opposed to just asking all other stuff that most people ask. Like what projects you working on, or stuff like that. Like,
Okay. So back in 2019, I had the idea or the concept for this platform now. And essentially, what wound up happening was I didn't feel as if I was prepared mentally to deal with being a presence online. I felt like I
that's
needed to
real.
still work on my anger and everything like that. So I just kind of did the research and everything, and when I was actually about to move forward with doing it, a friend of mine had hit me up, and they had been developing their own platform. But essentially, it was like, yo, look, we want you to come over here and help us manage this, and you know what I'm saying, work with us in that way. So I visited them, chopped it up, kicked it off with them, and then one of the other dudes, he was the CEO, or is the CEO now. But me and him, we balanced each other out on the camera when we tried it out one day, and we just both agreed like, yeah, this is better, a better balance than what they were doing before. So I started working with them, and then I got into this consulting position, and then I got let go from it, and it gave me more time to actually put into this platform.
Right.
So it was like, okay, what have I been shelving that hasn't been leaving my head after all this time working on this other platform as well? What do I always keep going back to? And it was this. So I was like, okay, I'll start it. So I relaunched it, and since then it's just been people just hitting me up that I've met or I've reached out to, like I reached out to you. Like it either comes from people I've actually met, or it comes from people that I just look and see your work, and I'm like, oh shoot, I fuck with this. Let me just reach out to them and see what they got to say. Like, see what happens next.
Oh, you follow my work? No.
No, for sure. Like, bro, I do. Like, that's why I'm asking you these questions, because it's like I could tell the authenticity that went into it. So I was like, okay, this is coming from somewhere. Like, it's not just being pulled out your ass. Like, even regardless of the interactions, like I know the numbers are important, but to me, it's more so about, okay, is this fulfilling the vision that you feel you're supposed to be doing? Like, is this encapsulating everything that it adds to that joy, that peace, and everything else that you, as anyone else, should really be wanting in their presence? At least that's what you stated. So yeah.
Right. That's love, man. Thank you.
For sure. No, respect. Like, I mean it. Anything else?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm ready to get into this vinyls.
All right, bet. So that means y'all have to go. So as always, I'm Dunlap the Connect, and this is
PJ.
Please let them know where to find you and all that. Get connected.
Y'all can follow me on Instagram at It's Just PJ.
All right. So without, we out.
Peace.